The star did not die quietly, it broke apart in silence. Its light tearing into pieces across the endless dark. No sound, no warning. Only a violent flash that painted the void in cold white. And then nothing remained except drifting fire and broken matter. From that dead star, something small moved, a child. She was not like anything the universe had seen before. Her body faintly glowing with soft blue light, her eyes open but empty, as if she had just been born into a place that did not want her. She floated alone among the ashes of the destroyed system, surrounded by silence that stretched forever. There were no ships, no signals, no life, only her far away. A human patrol ship moved slowly through deep space, its metal body cutting through darkness with quiet purpose. Inside, the crew worked in routine silence, checking systems, scanning empty sectors, expecting nothing. Among them was one soldier, a man who had seen too many missions and too many empty worlds. His name was not important to the others. Just another uniform, just another human doing his duty. But tonight felt different. The scanners suddenly flickered. A weak signal appeared, broken and unstable, almost lost in background noise. Unknown transmission detected, the system voice said. Calm and lifeless, the crew looked at each other, confused. "There's nothing out here," one of them said. The signal came again, faint, almost like a whisper. The captain frowned. "Ignore it, probably debris echo." But the soldier did not move. His eyes fixed on the screen. Something about that signal felt wrong. Or maybe too real. He leaned closer, adjusting the frequency, and then he heard it. Not a voice, not a word, but something softer. Something like a feeling, a call. "Sir." "I think it's alive," he said quietly. The room went silent. "Impossible," another crew member replied. "No life survived a stellar collapse." The captain's tone hardened. "We do not investigate unknown biological risks. That's protocol." But the signal pulsed again. Weaker this time, like it was fading. The soldier clenched his jaw. "If we leave it, it dies," he said. No one answered for a moment. It was just him against the silence of space and the weight of orders. Then he made a choice. "Adjusting course," he said. His voice steady, the ship turned slightly, engines humming as it followed the dying signal into the dark remains of the destroyed star system. Debris surrounded them, glowing fragments drifting like ghosts. Pieces of a world that no longer existed. "Radiation levels rising," someone warned. "Keep it steady," the soldier replied. The signal grew stronger, guiding them deeper until they saw it. A piece of wreckage, barely holding together, floating between broken rocks and fading light. "Boarding team, move," the captain ordered. His voice tense now. The soldier was the first to step inside. The air was thin, cold, filled with ash and silence. Every step echoed like the place itself was empty of time. He moved carefully, weapon ready, expecting danger. But there was nothing, only a soft glow deeper inside. He followed it, slower now, his breath quiet, and then he saw her. A small figure sitting among the ruins, her body glowing faintly. Her eyes fixed on nothing, her form fragile, almost unreal for a moment. He forgot to move. She looked so small, so alone. "This is a child," he whispered. Behind him, his team hesitated, unsure, afraid. "Do not touch it," someone warned. But the soldier stepped forward anyway. Slowly, carefully, the child's head turned, her glowing eyes locking onto him. There was no fear in her gaze, only something deeper. Something ancient and quiet. He lowered his weapon. Kneeling slightly, he extended his hand. Unsure of what he was doing, the child watched him. Then, without a sound, she reached out. Her small hand touched his. And in that moment, everything changed. The noise of the ship, the warnings, the fear, all of it faded away. Because out of all the stars, all the worlds, All the lives in the universe, the child from a dead star had chosen him. The ship returned to the fleet in heavy silence. No one spoke at first, as if the thing they had brought back could hear every word. The wreckage was stored in a sealed containment bay, and the small glowing child was placed inside a transparent field, floating gently as if she was still part of space itself. The human soldier did not leave her side. He stood there, watching her, as if stepping away would make her disappear like a dream. The rest of the crew did not understand his behavior. To them, she was not a child. She was an unknown biological anomaly. Something that should not exist, something that survived the death of a star and should not be trusted. In the command room, tension grew heavier with every passing second. The scanners ran deep analysis, repeating the same result again and again. Energy signature unknown, origin, non-registered stellar system. Warning, unstable core detected. The words made the officers uneasy. One of them finally spoke. "This is not a rescue," he said. "This is a containment failure waiting to happen." Another nodded quickly. "We should destroy it before it reacts." The room went quiet for a moment. Then all eyes turned to the soldier. He stood there, still and calm, but his jaw was tight. "You are talking about a child," he said quietly. A cold laugh came from one of the officers. "Child?" "It burned an entire star system." The soldier did not answer, because even he did not fully understand what she was. But something inside him refused to accept what they were saying. Meanwhile, in the containment bay, the child floated silently. Her glowing eyes moved slowly, watching the humans outside the field. She did not speak. She did not cry. But something in her expression looked confused, like she was trying to understand why she was being watched like a weapon instead of a life. The human soldier stepped closer to the barrier. The soft light from her body reflected on his face. "You are safe," he said gently, even though he was not sure she understood words. The child tilted her head slightly. For a brief moment, the energy inside her flickered, like a heartbeat responding. But outside the chamber, alarm suddenly activated. "Energy fluctuation rising," the system announced. Red lights filled the room. The officers panicked immediately. "She is reacting," one shouted. "She is unstable." Security doors began locking down sections of the ship. A protocol was triggered automatically. "Neutralization sequence recommended," the system said coldly. The soldier turned sharply. "Stop this," he said. "She is not attacking anyone." But no one listened. Fear spreads faster than logic. The captain stepped forward, his voice firm. "We cannot risk the entire fleet for one unknown life form." The soldier's eyes hardened. "She is not a threat," he said again, louder this time. But the system continued escalating warnings. Inside the containment field, the child's glow became slightly stronger. Not aggressive, but unstable, as if she could feel the fear around her. She slowly placed her hand against the barrier. And at the exact same moment, every screen across the ship flickered. The power systems trembled for half a second. That was enough. "See?" An officer shouted. "She is already affecting the ship." Panic turned into urgency. "Prepare containment purge," someone ordered. The soldier stepped in front of the control panel. "Blocking it. You will not kill her," he said firmly. A weapon was raised behind him. For a moment, everything froze. Human against human, order against emotion. Fear against something no one understood. Then a soft sound filled the room, not from speakers, not from systems, but from the child, a faint vibration, almost like a voice trying to form for the first time. Everyone turned silent. Even the alarm seemed to hesitate. The soldier slowly turned back toward the glass. The child was looking at him, and in that moment, the light inside her softened. The system stopped escalating for a second, as if the ship itself was unsure what it was witnessing, but the fear was still there, heavy and growing, outside the chamber. The officers made their final decision. She must be terminated, the captain said coldly, and deep inside the ship, the containment protocols began to arm themselves. The soldier looked at the child one last time, and what he saw in her eyes was not destruction, it was confusion. As if she was asking one simple question the universe had never answered. Why are they afraid of me? The ship moved deeper into restricted space. Every system on board was now running full analysis on the alien child. But no database in the fleet could identify her species. It was as if she came from something the universe itself had forgotten. In the containment bay, the human soldier stayed close. He did not sleep, he did not move away. The child floated calmly now, her glow softer than before. But the ship still felt uneasy, like it was holding its breath inside the science lab. The results finally began to change. One scientist leaned closer to the screen, confused. "This is not biological," he said slowly. Another shook his head. No living body should contain this level of energy. The readings were impossible. Deep inside the child, something was burning, not like fire, but like a star trapped in a small form, a core of energy that never stopped moving. The human soldier listened from behind the glass. He did not understand science, but he understood danger. And he also understood fear in people's voices. The captain entered the room, his face hard. "We need answers now," he said. The lead scientist hesitated, then finally spoke. "This child is not just alive," he said. "She is holding the remains of a collapsed star inside her." Silence fell across the room. Even the machine seemed quieter for a moment. The soldier looked up sharply. "A star," he repeated. The scientist nodded slowly. "But not a natural one," he added. "It looks like something was placed inside her, a controlled energy source. Far beyond known technology." The captain's expression darkened. "This means she is a weapon," he said immediately. The soldier stepped forward. "No," he replied firmly. "She is a child, but the data did not support emotion. The reading showed unstable bursts of energy reacting to emotion signals. Every time the child felt fear, the core inside her reacted. Every time she felt calm, it stabilized." The scientist pointed at the graph. "Her emotions control the star energy," he said. "That means if she panics, she can destroy this ship." The room fell silent again. In the containment bay, the child slowly turned her head. She was looking at the human soldier, as if she could feel the change in the air, as if she knew something had been decided about her. The soldier walked closer to the glass. He placed his hand on it again. "You are safe," he said softly. The child did not speak, but the glow inside her flickered slightly, like she was trying to understand those words. Outside, the decision was being made. The command officers were divided. Some wanted immediate elimination. Others wanted containment and study. But fear was growing faster than logic. A warning suddenly flashed across the system. Energy spike detected. The child's core reacted again, not violently, but unpredictably. The lights in the containment bay flickered. The soldier turned quickly. But the child was not attacking, she was scared. And that was enough to shake the entire system. Alarms began to rise again. Red lights filled the corridors. The captain gave the final order. "Prepare shutdown sequence." The soldier froze, his voice lowered. "You are going to kill her because she is afraid." No one answered, because the truth sounded too simple. In the science lab, a breakthrough came suddenly. A young analyst stared at a hidden pattern. "It's not a weapon core," he said suddenly. Everyone turned to him. He zoomed in on the energy signature. "It is a memory core," he explained. "It reacts like a living archive." The room went silent again. The scientist adjusted the data, shocked. "This is impossible," he whispered. The analyst continued. "It is storing something, not power, but experience." The soldier slowly turned his head. Listening carefully, the scientist looked at the containment bay feed again. And then he saw it. a pattern hidden inside the energy waves. Not random, but structured, like memories being replayed in fragments. The child was not just carrying energy. She was carrying a dying history, and somewhere inside her, something was still trying to speak. The captain lowered his voice slightly. "Then what is she?" he asked. No one answered immediately, because the truth was still forming, and in the containment bay. The child looked at the soldier again. This time, her glow became steady. As if she had finally been seen, the ship was no longer calm. Every hallway felt tighter, every sound sharper, as if the entire vessel had become aware of something it could not understand. The alien child remained inside the containment field. But now she was no longer just observed, she was studied like a disaster waiting to happen. In the command room, tension had turned into division. Some officers demanded immediate elimination. Others pushed for containment and research. But fear was slowly winning every argument. The human soldier stood alone near the viewing glass. He had not moved for a long time. His eyes stayed fixed on the child. She floated quietly. But something about her still felt like silence before a storm. Inside the science lab, the discovery from Part 3 had shaken everyone. A memory core, not a weapon core. A living archive of energy and experience. But that explanation only created more questions. Whose memories? One scientist asked quietly. No one answered. Because the answer was too large to accept. Meanwhile, the child began to react more strongly. Not violently, but emotionally. Her glow changed with every movement around her. When guards approached, she dimmed. When the soldier stepped closer, she brightened slightly. It was as if she understood fear without needing words. And fear was everywhere. The captain finally entered the containment observation room. His face was colder than before, controlled but heavy. "We cannot continue like this," he said. "This entity is unstable." The soldier turned slightly. "She is reacting to us," he replied. The captain ignored him and looked at the data feed. "Every emotional spike increases energy output," he said. "If she loses control again, this ship will not survive." The room fell silent. Even the system seemed to pause in the containment bay. The child slowly turned her head. Her eyes locked onto the human soldier again. And for a brief moment, everything around her stabilized. The readings dropped. The alarms quieted. The scientist noticed it immediately. "It responds to him," he said, confused. The captain frowned. "That makes it more dangerous," he replied. But the soldier stepped forward, his voice firm. "No," he said. "It makes her alive." The captain stared at him. But before he could respond, a sudden shift happened. The child's glow intensified for a second. Not aggressively, but like a memory resurfacing. The entire system detected it instantly. "Energy surge detected," the ship warned. The containment field flickered. And for the first time, a fragment of sound appeared. Not through speakers, not through systems, but inside the minds of those nearby. A broken echo of voices, not language, but emotion, fear, loss, and something like calling out. The scientists froze. What was that? One whispered. The analyst from before stepped closer to the data stream. "It is not random," he said quickly. "It is structured emotional memory." The captain turned sharply. "Explain," he demanded. The analyst hesitated, then pointed at the waveform. "These are not just memories," he said. "They are deaths." Silence hit the room like gravity. The soldier felt something cold in his chest, in the containment bay. The child suddenly pressed both hands against the barrier. Her glow flickered rapidly now, unstable but not hostile. She was not attacking, she was remembering. And the memories were hurting her. The ship's systems began to rise again. Alarms returning, but the soldier stepped forward, placing his hand on the glass again. "Look at me," he said softly. The child turned her head. Her eyes met his, and slowly the energy spike reduced again. The captain noticed it immediately. Impossible, he muttered, but the data did not lie. The child was stabilizing through one human presence. The soldier did not understand why. But he refused to step away. Inside the science lab, a final breakthrough appeared. The analyst's voice shook slightly. The memory core is not storing random history, he said. It is storing a civilization's end. The room went completely silent, he continued. This child is carrying the last record of a dead species. And that species was destroyed by fear itself. The captain slowly turned his head toward the containment feed. For the first time, his expression was uncertain. Because now the question had changed. It was no longer about danger, it was about responsibility. And in the containment bay, the child's glow softened again. As if she was waiting, not for commands, but for someone to decide what she was allowed to become. The ship drifted deeper into unknown space. But nothing felt like exploration anymore. It felt like holding a sleeping storm inside fragile metal walls. Every system was now on alert, but not because of enemies outside. The danger was inside the containment bay. The alien child remained there, still floating, still glowing. But now her presence had changed the entire atmosphere of the ship. It was no longer fear alone. It was uncertainty mixed with something deeper. Something no one wanted to name. In the command room, arguments had stopped turning into decisions. Now they turned into hesitation. No one wanted to be responsible for what came next. The human soldier stayed at his post, silent, tired, but unbroken. He had not left the glass barrier since the beginning. It was as if leaving would mean accepting something he refused to accept. Inside the containment bay, the child slowly moved closer to the barrier. Her small hands touched the glass again. But this time, something was different. Her glow was unstable, flickering between soft light and sharp bursts. The scientists noticed immediately. She is reacting again, one said quickly. But this time, there was no aggression in her pattern. Only distress. The analyst leaned forward, studying the readings carefully. It is not external pressure, he said slowly. It is internal collapse. The captain turned sharply. Explain. The analyst swallowed, then pointed at the shifting energy graph. The memory core is overloading, he said. It is trying to process too many stored events at once, like reliving everything at the same time. Silence fell across the room again, in the containment bay. The child suddenly bent slightly, as if in pain. Her glow brightened violently for a second, then dimmed. The ship alarms triggered instantly. Energy instability rising. Red lights filled every corridor again. The soldier stepped forward without hesitation. She is not attacking, he said firmly, but no one responded. Because systems did not understand emotion. Only risk levels. Inside the bay, the child's breathing pattern changed. Not physical breathing, but energy rhythm. It was breaking apart. The soldier placed his hand on the barrier again. His voice lowered. Stay with me, he said quietly. The child looked at him, and for a moment, the instability slowed, but it did not stop. The captain made a decision. We cannot let this continue, he said. If the core collapses here, we lose everything. The containment protocols began to initialize automatically. A shutdown sequence designed to neutralize all energy inside the field. The soldier turned sharply. No, he said louder now. You will kill her. The captain's voice was cold. She is already unstable. Waiting only increases the risk. But something unexpected happened next. The scientist monitoring the core suddenly spoke up. Wait, he said urgently. Everyone turned to him. He pointed at the screen. There is a pattern forming, he said. The energy spikes were not random. They were aligning. Like the child was trying to stabilize herself. But failing alone. The analyst stepped closer, confused. It is trying to synchronize, he said, with something external. The soldier immediately understood what they meant. He looked at the child, then at his own hand on the glass. "She is sinking with me," he said quietly. The captain frowned. "That is impossible," but the data was undeniable every time the soldier spoke. The instability reduced slightly every time he stepped closer. The energy calmed. It was not control. It was connection inside the containment bay. The child slowly raised her head. Her glowing eyes locked onto the soldier, and for the first time, she moved closer to the barrier instead of away from it. The scientists watched in shock. "She is stabilizing," one whispered. But the analyst shook his head. "No," he said slowly. "She is not stabilizing. She is being anchored." The captain finally stepped forward. "What does that mean?" he asked. The analyst hesitated before answering. "It means her survival is now linked to him." A heavy silence followed, because that meant one thing clearly. If the soldier was removed, the child would collapse. And if the child collapsed, the ship might not survive either. In the containment bay, the child placed both hands on the glass again. But this time she was calm, her glow steady, breathing slow. The soldier did not move, he just stayed there. And for the first time since she arrived, the universe inside her did not feel like destruction. It felt like waiting. The ship no longer felt like a machine. It felt like a witness, quietly carrying something it was never built to understand. Every corridor, every deck, every control panel seemed to react to the presence inside the containment bay. As if the entire vessel had learned fear in silence, the alien child was still there. But now she was no longer unstable in the same way. Her glow was steady, soft, almost like a distant star refusing to die. And yet something inside her was still broken, not in her power, but in her memories. The human soldier stood in the same place as always. Tired eyes, steady posture, unshaken presence. He had become the only constant in her world, inside the science lab. The discovery from Part 5 had changed everything. The child was not just reacting to emotion. She was bonded, anchored, synchronized to him. But no one yet understood why. The analyst replayed the energy patterns again and again, until something finally appeared inside the data. A faint trace, buried deep in the memory core. Not random signals, not alien noise, but structured communication. The captain stepped closer, narrowing his eyes. "What is that?" he asked quietly. The analyst hesitated, then answered. "It is a language." Silence fell instantly, but not a spoken language. It was older than sound, older than writing. A pattern of emotion encoded into energy itself. The analyst zoomed further into the data, and then the truth began to form. "This is not her memory," he said slowly. "This is what she absorbed." The room turned colder in an instant. The captain frowned. "Absorbed from where?" The analyst swallowed before answering. "From the Dead Star system, and everything inside it." The meaning took a moment to settle. Then it hit like gravity. The child had not been born from destruction. She had recorded it, all of it, every death, every collapse, every final moment of an extinct civilization. And she carried it inside her like a living archive. In the containment bay, the child suddenly shifted. Her glow flickered slightly, as if responding to the realization forming outside. The soldier noticed immediately. "You feel it too," he said softly. The child turned her head toward him. Her eyes calm, but heavy, for the first time. Something like sadness passed through her expression. Not fear, not confusion, but memory inside the ship. Systems suddenly detected another spike. But it was different from before. Not unstable, controlled, directed. The analyst leaned forward again, shocked. "She is accessing stored fragments," he said quickly. "But not randomly, intentionally." The captain's voice lowered. "What is she doing?" The analyst hesitated, then answered. "She is trying to show us, in the containment bay." The air shifted slightly. The lights dimmed for a moment. And then the walls around the child filled with faint projections. Not images, but emotional echoes. A civilization speaking without sound. Cities burning without fire, crowds disappearing without movement. A world collapsing into silence one moment at a time. The soldier stepped closer instinctively, watching in disbelief. "What is this?" he whispered. The child did not speak, but the projection shifted again, now showing something else, fear, not as an emotion, but as a force spreading through entire populations, turning people against each other, destroying trust before destruction even began. The analyst spoke quietly. "It was not war that killed them," he said. "It was fear." The captain said nothing for a long moment, then slowly turned toward the containment feed. For the first time, his expression had changed. Not into fear, but doubt, in the containment bay. The child lowered her head slightly, as if reliving every fragment again. And then, something unexpected happened. She reached toward the soldier again. But this time, not for stability, for understanding. The moment their connection strengthened, the projection stabilized. The memories became clearer, less chaotic. And the analyst realized the final truth. "She is not just showing us what happened," he said softly. "She is asking if it will happen again." Silence spread across the ship like a second gravity. Because now the question was no longer about survival. It was about history repeating itself. And in that silence, the soldier finally spoke. "We decide that," he said quietly, "not to the command. Not to the systems, but to the child, and for the first time since the star died." The memory core inside her stopped trembling. The ship moved in silence. But it was no longer the same silence as before. It was not fear now. It was understanding slowly forming inside broken systems and uncertain minds. Every officer, every scientist, every soldier had seen the same thing, not a weapon, not a threat, but a record of extinction carried inside a living child. And a question no one wanted to answer too quickly, inside the containment bay. The alien child floated calmly. Her glow was steady now, like a star that had finally stopped collapsing. But her eyes still carried something heavy, as if she was waiting for the universe to decide what she was allowed to become. The human soldier stood close to the barrier. He had not left her side through any of it. Not when they feared her, not when they tried to shut her down, not when they called her dangerous. Now the ship itself had changed its stance. The captain entered the observation deck slowly. His posture was no longer rigid. It was thoughtful, uncertain, human in a way it had not been before. Behind him, the science team remained silent. The analyst looked tired, as if the truth had drained something from him. The captain spoke first. "We have reviewed everything," he said quietly. "The memory core, the signals, the reactions." He paused, looking at the child through the glass. "And we understand now what she is carrying." The room stayed silent. Even the systems seemed to wait. The captain continued. "She is not a weapon," he said. "She is a witness." A soft shift passed through the room, like pressure being released after holding breath for too long in the containment bay. The child tilted her head slightly, listening. The soldier noticed it immediately. He stepped closer to the glass. "She hears you," he said softly. The captain nodded slowly. "And she remembers everything we were afraid to see." A long pause followed. Then the analyst stepped forward. "There is something more," he said. Everyone turned toward him again. He adjusted the data feed, and a new pattern appeared. "This is not just a recording," he said. "It is a warning loop." The captain frowned. "Explain." The analyst pointed at the repeating structures in the energy core. "The civilization she carries inside her did not only end," he said. "It predicted its own end before it happened, and failed to stop it." The meaning hit slowly. Then fully, the soldier looked at the child again. And for the first time, he saw something beyond innocence. Beyond power, he saw burden. The child was not just remembering death. She was repeating a warning that no one had ever answered in time. In the containment bay, the glow inside her shifted slightly. Reacting to the realization, the soldier spoke softly. "You are not alone anymore." The child's eyes turned toward him. And something changed, not in power, but in expression. A softness, almost relief. The analyst checked the readings again, shocked. "Energy stabilization is complete," he said. "No spikes, no collapse." The captain slowly exhaled. "So it was him," he said quietly. The soldier did not respond. Because he did not feel like he had done anything. He only stayed, and that was enough. The captain turned toward the team. "We have a decision to make," he said. The room went silent again, but this time, it was not fear that controlled it. It was responsibility. He looked at the child once more, then at the soldier, and finally spoke. "This ship will not destroy her." A few officers reacted immediately. But he raised his hand. "Nor will we use her," he continued. "She is not a tool. She is a record of what happens when civilizations forget fear is also a choice." In the containment bay, the child slowly moved closer to the glass. The soldier placed his hand where hers would meet. Through the barrier, connection felt real. Not physical, but understood. The captain's voice softened slightly. "We will carry her forward," he said, "not as a weapon, but as proof. Proof that it happened once, and proof that it can be remembered without repeating it." The scientist nodded slowly. Accepting what had been impossible before, the analyst looked at the data one last time, then closed it, because there was nothing left to decode. Only something left to protect. The child finally spoke. Not in sound, but in thought. Shared across the ship like a quiet echo, a feeling more than words. "Do not forget again." The soldier closed his eyes for a moment, then nodded. "I won't." The ship slowly adjusted its course. Not toward war, not toward fear, but toward something uncertain, something fragile, something like a future that had to be chosen carefully. And inside the containment bay, the child from a dead star was no longer alone.